Welcome on the gravel listeners to our second or third interview, depending on how these come out. This is probably going to be the second one. We have our guest, FunkyTBone, as he's known on stream. He's mainly on Twitch.
I stream on Twitch. I put content everywhere.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
You can find him anywhere. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, everywhere. Under FunkyTBone. How are you today? We can start there.
I'm good. I'm good. Today's good. Had a good day at work. Some interesting news out of the F1 world. Came home, showered, purged myself of my sins. We're all good. Good day.
Hell yeah.
Beautiful. But I feel like, not to be cliche, but started off from the very beginning. What got you into streaming and I guess racing games in general?
Sure. Yeah. So, I have no idea if anyone knows anything about the streaming world or anything about racing games, but I actually didn't start with racing games. So during COVID in 2020, I had a full-time job and it was project based, right? So it was construction. So we would build, like that. We were building a dealership for that. And then I went to a different type of project that was much calmer. Schedule was less. So I didn't work any overtime or anything like that. And I just had a ton of free time. And it was COVID, nothing was going on. So I was just kind of bored, looking for a creative outlet, looking for an additional way to make money. I'm sure you guys are kind of in the same boat. And started streaming. Literally started like on my couch, and I had to put a bunch of pillows under my camera so that the camera wouldn't be like sitting directly underneath me. Um, and just really enjoyed it. Kind of kept it up, and got kept going at time over time. Kept adding technology, making the setup better. I didn't actually get into racing games, which is where I kind of found my niche until probably like 3 years into streaming, maybe a little bit more. So I tried to be successful at everything, Warzone, Apex, Halo, all of them, and you're a really tiny fish in a really big pond with those. And the F1 game was like on sale one day, so I picked it up just to play myself, and I enjoyed it. Decided to stream it one day, and that's a much smaller pond. There's just a less of an audience, right? So it's a lot easier to be a little bigger on Twitch there. Transitioned my content over to it, found a bit of a niche, started doing well, and kind of got stuck with it. And I love it. I enjoy it, but it wasn't on purpose.
I was gonna say, so 3 years in, so you've only been doing it for like what, a year and a half now?
Yeah, racing content I started in probably like November of 23.
Okay.
Um, no, excuse me, November of 22. Uh, and then through 23 and then now to 24.
Gotcha. Were you a fan of like F1 as a sport before you found the game?
Yes, so I've
Okay.
I've watched since 2014. That's kind of when I got in. I hate the people that are like against Drive to Survive fans. So I'm not going to say like I was before Drive to Survive or anything like that. But yeah, we
Mhm.
got into 2014 when it was dirt cheap. So I used to live in Texas, really close to Coda, and
Yeah.
I think I've told this story before a few times, but you could so we went to Coda last year, and it was $600 a ticket. In 2014, you could spend $185 and get 3 day passes to five different racing events. So it was F1, MotoGP, Lone Star Le Mans, which is IMSA and
Yep.
World Endurance, Vintage Racing, and the Pirelli World Challenge, which is touring car racing. It was $185 for 3 day passes to all of those.
Wow.
So that's what we would
Wh-
do every year. Is we would get the season pass to Dakota, and we would go all the time.
That's insane.
I would love to go back to that time.
Oh, it was
Never gonna
great.
happen again though.
It was great. You could walk into
Ah,
the pits, nobody cared. It was so fun.
that's so nice.
Uh,
But on the flip side, like you didn't have anybody to talk to about it. So that's why I hate when people dog on Drive Survive fans because like Drive Survive got my wife into it. So my wife and I now go to races together, and we went to
Yeah.
Japan this year and went to Suzuka and everything. And so like I love new people in it. Now, you have a lot of people to talk F1 with,
Hmm.
whereas like 2014 to 2018, if you found one person that knew what you were talking about, you were super lucky.
Yeah.
how did you end up with the name FunkyTBone?
It's a good question as far as question goes. I didn't really do much on purpose, so it was an accident. So I started with a different name. I started with whatever my username was from when I was in like middle school and got my first PlayStation account. So it was T-Bone and then a bunch of numbers at the end. And just as I kind of started taking content more seriously, I didn't want to have a bunch of numbers associated with it because who's gonna find that? So I literally would just every day play with so Twitch has a renaming tool where it'll tell you if it's taken or not. And I would play with it every day of different combinations. And FunkyTBone wasn't taken, and so I took it.
That's fair.
Impressive.
Sometimes
Yeah.
that's all it is.
Yeah.
I guess after streaming for a few years, then with that handle, what would you say is the most overlooked aspect, I guess, for people who want to get into it?
So, it kind of depends on how seriously you want to take it, right? Because I think if you just want to stream to like your couple of friends, like that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. If you want to be the next Nick Merckx, that's a different thing to do that I obviously haven't figured out yet. I'm at kind of a fun place where like it's a small number of viewers that make you very successful on Twitch. So for example, I have about a 40 average, and I'm in the top 1% of all Twitch streamers, right?
Yeah.
But to get that 40 average, I have 30,000 followers on other platforms. So what I think people don't really get is like they think they're going to go live on Twitch and people are going to find them. And that's just not true. Twitch is just not built to do that. You'll unless you're the top channel in your category or time slot, people will literally never stumble into your stream. So you have to make content on other platforms, and then that's difficult, right? You don't know how to make good videos, you don't know how to edit, you don't know how to get people's attention. So it's a shitty answer because I think people want kind of a magic bullet, but it's just like years of putting videos out every day and seeing what works and making minor adjustments.
Yeah, that's exactly what we do over on our end for the audio show stuff too. So it's different worlds, but you know, the same art, I would say. What was the factor that led you to have beginner-friendly lobbies? This is
Because I'm
one.
not very good. This is the short answer.
Hey, the setup looks pretty nice though.
Yeah, well, so like I feel kind of old talking to y'all. I don't know how old you guys are. I feel like
I'm
you're in college.
22. I just
I'm 23.
graduated.
Okay, yeah. So I'm like a grown up. So like we this is our house.
I'm a child.
Yeah. So the setup, so everything you see that's like not F1 related, we just bought with our money because we have two careers. But all the F1 stuff was either given by like potential sponsors or potential companies, or I just bought with the money from stream. And it's not a ton of money, but it builds up over time because I don't
Of course.
I don't spend it on stuff. So like the 44 number, that was from a company that wanted to do something together. This art is actually the Williams livery, if you can't tell, because it's kind of blue.
What? I know what company that is. I just saw
AC
an ad
Creatives.
from them. Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're the
I've
shit.
been-
Check them out. I love them.
I've been debating. I've been debating.
They have a
on
new
that.
helmet line. I see the helmet behind you.
Yes, it's the Charles Leclerc helmet from 2021, and then I have my Circuit Gilles Villeneuve because it's just my favorite racing track in the world.
Yeah, no, they're great. I love working with them. So we've had a partnership for a few months. We'll probably be re-upping that sponsorship soon. But yeah, that's them. And then like the Fanatec is nice and everything. I have it. I didn't take it off because it's stuck on the base, so it's probably not great PR for Fanatec. But that's why I have the wheel like on in front of me because I can't get it off. But yeah, I mean, you just over time kind of figured out. And this is our basement, so like it's huge. We got a couch, and this is where we hang out and everything. So it's kind of double duty.
I love it. But so with Raven specifically, Raven's somebody who's like very recently introduced into racing and racing games, period. I've been sim racing for a while. But it doesn't really feel like for those that are kind of getting into it, there's a real place to learn, I guess, in the situational aspect of it. Do you have an idea personally where you think like the best area is or game to, I guess, learn racing?
Sure.
Sim-wise?
Yeah, so to kind of better answer your beginner friendly thing and then kind of segue into this. So sim racing unfortunately is a very serious group of people. I would argue too serious for the most part.
Yeah.
I think like iRacing is fine if you want to think you're Max Verstappen on iRacing and you've spent a bunch of money, go crazy. That's fine. But for anything that's like on console, like the F1 games or Forza or let's be honest with ourselves. We're playing a video game. We're playing a video game in our free time for fun, right? So like I try not to take it too seriously, and that's why I became kind of the beginner friendly guy. Because I'm just not that good, and I just that was kind of my counter to all the shitty comments that I would get about like, oh, you have the line on, you have this, and I'm like, well, I'm just a dude playing a game for fun, and that kind of over time became where my channel, my content is where people come to feel comfortable, just enjoying a video game. As far as where to start, console is usually the easiest. So anything that's on console, like I said, like Forza, Gran Turismo, the F1 games. ACC is a little more serious. So if you wanted to, ACC is a set of course a competizione. If you wanted to get a little more serious and get out of kind of the arcadey games, you can go to that. As far as equipment goes, people ask me this all the time. Nothing wrong with starting on controller. Just, you don't need to buy a wheel if you don't know you're going to like something. So start on controller. And then Logitech is usually like the first step. So a Logitech G920, G923, whatever the model is. I think they're like $200, depending on which one you get. Um, and then you want, if after that, I think the next step is a direct drive like this. So direct drive, for those that don't know, the motor is like directly hooked up to the spindle that comes out that connects to the wheel. So it's a lot more force feedback. Wheels are measured in force feedback and kind of how realistic they are. So this was like a $600 bundle, and it's great. I would show you the wheel, but again, it's stuck on.
Is it it looks like the McLaren GT3 wheel.
That's what it is. Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
modeled after the McLaren GT3, and it's been great. I don't want to sound like I'm bashing them. Excuse me. It's been wonderful. It's a great wheel to use. It just has the quick release. It's stuck on, and I'm working through the warranty on that. But that's kind of where I suggest people go. There's a ton of YouTube videos and creators on like that on how to learn trail braking and cornering and all that fun stuff. But I think you just got to feel comfortable. I think that's the kind of big gap. It's like people they can't learn without doing. And if they're gonna join a streamer's lobby or whatever, and they're gonna get yelled at if they make a mistake or people are super toxic in it, like they get turned off. And that's kind of what I was trying to not do. So that's a big rule for us. Is like everybody starts somewhere. Everybody's gonna learn. If you don't, if someone like legit can't sim race wheel to wheel, they just start from the back, do your own thing, wait till you get a little better.
Yeah, I
But
think it was
that's
one
kind of
of
the problem.
I was one of my big issues as well. Like obviously I also started off on the F1 games, but then I very quickly tried branching into like iRacing because it's what some of my close friends do, and I was nowhere near good enough really quickly. I realized it very fast, and I got shit on for it a lot from just the random people in those lobbies. So I stopped playing the game for a super long time. Went back to the F1 games, and then kind of got into ACC a bit. I did some of the R Factor games, and then now finally I'm back into doing iRacing, I guess, full time. But yeah, it's a lot of grinding and kind of just figuring out what you feel comfortable with, I guess.
Yeah, and some
But
people like that. Like
completely
I
agree.
get the iRacing thing. I think it's fun. I played a little bit off stream. I only really make I don't actually touch the F1 game unless I'm streaming it, which is kind of surprising to a lot of people. But that's the thing is like if you find a group of people, and that's what I try to do, is if you find a group of people that like let you learn and let you be a dum dum and let you make mistakes, because that's what you're gonna do. It's like you're new, and again, we're all playing a video game. Like, why are we taking it super seriously?
Exactly. Absolutely. I mean, do you have any other racing games that you enjoy besides the Formula One games?
No, I don't because gaming has been like almost a job for me. Like it's not quite monetarily a job, but like workload is definitely a job. I try real hard to also enjoy like games on the side that I don't stream, that I don't put
Mhm.
out content for. None of those are racing games, coincidentally. Like I said, I just kind of happened
That's
into the
fair.
F1 thing. And it's also like when you're streaming, you have to talk a lot. So F1's good because if something's not going on screen, you can talk about recent news, race results, theories, who's moving where, fun stuff like that. So that's kind of why I'm in the racing scene.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's probably I mean I did it for a little bit. I feel like it is way easier to do that, all that talking stuff when you're on a wheel instead of having both your hands trying to mess with a keyboard and a mouse the entire time.
Yeah,
Yeah, I never played keyboard and mouse on anything. I've always been a controller guy. But yeah, I mean it's the same thing.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I feel that like when we're recording for the show, it's like I have to do the video board. I have to make sure the audio's looking good. If we need to pull up something, I need to do that. So it's like having your hands full while talking is definitely a skill, and you do it pretty well.
Thank you. I try. I'm just
Um,
full of shit is the real answer.
kind of going off the Fanatec wheel question, what was some reasons that made you pick Fanatec over other brands like Moza? Just price, I'm
You guys keep
assuming.
asking me like why I do stuff, and I'm realizing that I don't really have a good reason on why I
That's
do a lot of
okay
stuff.
though.
That's fine.
Um, So I play on Xbox. So I stream on I stream from my PC, but I play when I'm playing the game when I'm streaming on an Xbox. So it had to be Xbox friendly. It had to be supported by Xbox, which that already cuts a bunch of the major wheel suppliers. So it basically puts you between Moza and Fanatec for the most part. There may be some other ones, but those are kind of the big ones. And we just had someone in our community that had ordered something from Moza and like they had a really hard time with it. It showed up, it wasn't working. It was a pain to get it kind of swapped out and everything. And I don't know if that's how it always is in Moza. It's just that was the one interaction that I had seen.
Mm.
Someone else in our community at the same time bought this wheel and loved it, and then it turns out we actually I think like 6 or 7 people at the same time bought the same wheel. I definitely should have been sponsored by Fanatec at that point. Would have
Yeah.
been great. But yeah, so we just it's just been a workhorse. It's great, and then you can the reason also that I like this is you can upgrade it. So um, the way it works for folks that don't know is like it comes with a base, the wheel itself, and then pedals. So you can get like load cell pedals that are better. So this is the 5 Newton meter, yeah,
Yep.
Newton meter measurement. You can get a boost kit that you just plug in that does 8. You can swap this wheel out for like a formula style wheel. It's a platform you can build on. And I figured if
Yeah.
I was going to spend that much on something, I would need, it's kind of like your car. Like you fiddle with it every once in a while
Hmm.
to make you keep liking it. And that's kind of the idea of what this was.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, with mine, I use a Thrustmaster. I use the T300, and then I just
Hmm.
have their open wheel add-on. But that one is nowhere near as customizable as what you're explaining. So the day I do want to upgrade this setup, I'm gonna have to drop a lot, which is gonna suck, but I should have had some forethought.
Yeah, and I mean that's why I think sim racing is kind of tough for some people because it is
Yeah,
to get a legitimate setup, it is quite expensive. You can have fun on a lot of tech, but like it's not the same.
I agree, and I love the realism.
It shows kind of like how, like, I'm gonna show compare it to golf, where it's like, yeah, you don't need a $3,000 set, but most people are going to end up spending that much money eventually to get the finished golf club, and it's similar to the racing wheel in the same spec, especially if you're trying to get um, like a gear shifter, like small stuff like that too, and then, oh, now I need a space for this, a seat, pedals, wheel, everything, monitors, essentially a whole nother computer for this one aspect that you like to do on the side.
Yeah, that's what's kept me from upgrading to a nicer one is like this one doesn't have enough for like I can clamp it to my desk and not worry about my monitors falling and all that stuff. Like if I got one that was a little more forceful, I'd have to get a cockpit, and this is our house, so I'd have to figure out a place to put it while I'm
Yeah,
editing because I just sit at my desk while I'm editing. So that's a good point of like how much space it takes up.
of course.
As I say, we live in tiny apartments in Chicago, so we got to think about all this stuff.
Yeah, I don't have the space, and I probably won't for a while, but that's okay.
Big sad. Big sad.
I guess to round off the Twitch portion of this before we can get into some more fun stuff, what are some of your perks that you think you have of just being a Twitch affiliate?
Nothing. So, so, okay. For those, so forgive me. I over explain things. It's the only way I know how to do it. So, for those that don't know, there's 2 levels to Twitch. Well, there's 3 technically. So, affiliate is the first one, and affiliate is honestly not difficult to achieve. I don't remember the requirements. It's been a minute since I think it's 3 average viewer and 50 followers. And like, I don't want to belittle it because like, when's the last time 3 people watched anyone do anything? Like 3 people is still a lot. Um, and then after that, there's partner, which is a 75 average. So there's a huge jump between
Yeah.
affiliate and partner. Um, and affiliate, so all that happens is you get monetization. So if people spend money on you, then you get a chunk of that. Twitch takes a chunk of it. You can do like emotes on your channel. You can do channel points. So you can like I have it set up where people can pick the track we're going to race on with their channel points. So they gather channel points kind of like a currency, and then they
Yeah.
can say, okay, I want to do Monaco now for 1,000 channel points or whatever. Uh, that's it. I think. I don't think you get much else. I mean, it's not like if you say like I'm a Twitch affiliate that people will open doors and shit for you. That's not.
Yeah.
No one really cares. Twitch partner is different. Twitch partner, you used to get a better monetization split, meaning that if someone paid for a sub, you would get like 50-50 on affiliate and 70-30 on partner. They did away with that. So Twitch hasn't been profitable ever in its existence. So they're doing a lot to like cut costs right now. So now all that you get as a partner is you get the check mark, which is cool. I think you get like better support. So like if let's say, your channel gets locked out or whatever, you can actually talk to a person rather than like talking to the automated Twitch stuff.
Yeah.
And they don't even really promote, like, so Twitch doesn't even promote people too much. It's literally just whoever's the top of the channel
Mm.
is who's going to get the most action.
So they really did away with the 70-30 split for the
Yeah, I
partners and
mean
went
that was
back
like
to
2 years ago.
50-50.
That was a while ago. So the really big ones have a contract, like
Yeah,
a
of
Nick
course.
Merckx. He's gonna have a contract that says he gets 70-30 or whatever. But yeah, partners now are down to 50-50. They have some new system that confuses the hell out of everybody. I don't remember what it's called, but it's like if you have, do you know what it is?
Is it bits?
No. So
No.
bits are like a currency. So
Yeah.
it's something to do with, it's like partner plus program, or if you have between I think 300 paid subs and like 1,000 paid subs, then you get the higher split on a certain amount of them. But like 300 paid subs is pretty out there for a lot of people. Like I
Yeah.
think the best I've ever done was like 180 paid subs. So like that's not a lot of people are going to get that.
Mm-hmm. It's okay though.
Kind of going off this question, compared to Twitch, does EA affiliate have a little bit more perks? Do you get a little bit more say
Hell
in
no.
things? I was gonna say.
Well,
I
sorry.
expected that.
That came out too
I
quick.
expected
That
EA
came out too
is
quick.
a very cut and dry company in what they
Sorry.
want to do, but
That just slipped right out.
That's
No,
okay.
so that's not what I just said is not technically correct. So I was thinking that you were going to ask about monetization,
yeah, no.
not perks. So no, so the perks are pretty good. So being an EA partner, EA affiliate, I don't really know what the exact term is, but it's pretty cool. I won't lie, it's pretty cool. So as a nerd, like finding out that you get to play a game early and make videos for them,
Mm.
that's pretty cool. I actually found out on my birthday, which was also cool. Like we were at dinner with my wife, and I got the email from the EA Creator Network. And there's also a lot of networking in it. So you basically get for your Creator Network, and there's a few different versions of it, like everything else, but you basically get assigned to a game or a genre. So like I'm assigned to a game, which is the F1 games. Some of the larger F1 creators, they'll try and pull to like the WRC game, for example. I
Mm-hmm.
could probably ask about that. I don't know. But so you get assigned to a game, and then yeah, you get that game a little early, so like a week or two early. I have no idea if this is confidential or not, by the way. You get the game like a week or two early. There's a lot of rules on what you can post and when you can post it. So it's like, okay, you're allowed to live stream it from this day at this time to this day at this time in this window. You can only do it for 2 hours. You can post, two long form videos and X number of short form. There's a lot of rules on it, but you
Yeah.
get to play a game early, which as a nerd, like that is probably one of the coolest things that's ever happened to me. On that, you do get to talk to EA, which is cool. Like we can communicate directly with people that work at EA.
Mm-hmm.
You can ask questions about like, hey, is this coming in the next patch? Are we working on this? The F1 game for 24 specifically, it was released to some pretty negative feedback on the new handling model. And so
Oh
they
yeah.
kind of had like a oh shit meeting where they had some of the creators with the like senior game devs that had built the model, and they kind of could explain like here's what we were going for, here's why, all that fun stuff. I still have a full-time job, so I couldn't go, which was sad.
Yeah.
So I had to
Hey, at least you
I
have
had
a
to go to
full-time
work.
job.
I do have a full-time job. But I got to listen to the recording later. And then you get to know, they don't you so they don't really tell you much about like unannounced stuff because like
Mm.
everyone knew the new F1 game was coming out, right? So like,
Mhm.
that wasn't a secret. That's a yearly release. But it is super cool that you get to get your hands on early build modes. You can do like giveaways and stuff. Like that was actually that was way easier than I thought it would be. If they're like, yeah, here's a bunch of codes, go crazy, like it's just whatever.
Mm.
And I was like, is there a limit to how many I can give? And they're like, I don't know, we'll find it. Yeah, like, we'll let you know when it's too
Jeez.
much. Yeah, I have no idea what I'm supposed to say and not supposed to say as far as what this is. But
That's okay.
it is super cool, and there are a lot of benefits. There's not a lot of monetization, so they're pushing this program called the Supported Creator Program, where if anyone spends money on the EA app with your code, you'll get a portion of it. But unfortunately, no one uses the EA app
I was gonna
because
say, is it kind of like the same thing? Like, I don't know. The only one I can think of is like the Fortnite V-Bucks system from that game. I guess the supported creator code.
Affiliate
yeah, but
code or
that's like
whatever.
in the game, right? Like that is the
Yeah.
game's store, so everyone's going to be using that. So this is like if someone buys the game for only the PC version and only on the EA app, which I didn't know about until they told me about it, if I'm
Yeah.
honest, then you'll get a cut of the money. So I think they're still kind of fleshing out, excuse me, they're still kind of fleshing out how that system is going to look. But that's like the only monetization you get out of it.
Yeah. That's okay though.
You
I
ca-
guess last. Oh, sorry.
I was
After you, Raven.
I was just gonna say, you said it earlier a little bit, but what are like you are doing all the editing for your own channel, correct?
Yeah, I'm too poor to pay somebody.
Yeah, I feel that, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten better at it and I've gotten faster at it. So over time, I've bought like effects and stuff that do all the editing for me, and I've like the auto subtitle software that has subtitles and like all that stuff.
Descript
So
and stuff like that.
so I just use the DaVinci Resolve, and it's got like the Pro version has the built-in auto software.
Mm.
And it's just like now I can crank probably 5 or 6 out in like an hour, and then it takes a while to like set them up to post, because I post on all the platforms, so you got to go into all the different platforms and like schedule them all out and stuff. But yeah, you get better at it over time. I would love to not do it. Oh my God, I would love to not do it, but too poor.
I don't know. I guess I would love to not do it as well. But I think the thing that always pushes me to do it is just the finished project. I guess I feel very, what's the word? Accomplished.
I feel that. What's weird about mine, and I don't know how or why this happened, but like, so if you look at my videos, you can see all the lights around me. So I've got like colored lights and this 44 and everything, and then my subtitles, just because I get bored and I like fun colors, is I always pick like fun color double pattern subtitles.
Yeah.
And now it's like candy. I just really like looking at them. I don't know why. It just tickles me, and so that's what it gets me through it, is looking at the pretty colors.
Beautiful.
That's totally fair.
It's all that works.
What
But,
after you? I did the last
oh,
one.
thank you, sir. Well, I was gonna say, yeah. I guess last thing on content creation, that kind of stuff. What's the hardest aspect of selling you and your content to different sponsors? I guess.
I didn't talk myself out of breath, so hold on a second.
No, you're all good. Don't worry.
So I'm a big believer in financial transparency. So forgive me if this makes anybody uncomfortable, but I would say I make, like, a normal month is like $200 or $300, and a good month is like $800, $900. Which, the good months are nothing to scoff at. Like, that's some legitimate income. But the normal months aren't like affecting much. As far as sponsors go, I think what a lot of creators my size struggle with is two things. One is that everyone wants you to be an affiliate code person, and affiliate codes just don't make any money. It's just a huge amount of work for you. You're constantly pushing it. You're doing stream overlays, stuff like that, and you get 5% of a $6 indie drink or whatever. So I think a lot of creators, when they start to get some traction, they get excited by all these affiliate things, and it's just I don't think any of it's worth it, if I'm honest. As far as like approaching companies, I've kind of stopped approaching them. It feels kind of skeezy to me, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
And the reason is because like what I've realized is there's no promise of how those sponsored videos do, or how those sponsored streams do. So I've got a couple of companies that I've like got to know the owner of, and I trust them and they trust me. But I would feel kind of skeezy reaching out to like a random company, because I can make a video for them and it can get 100 views, and it doesn't do any good.
Yeah.
But if they reach out to me, hey, you fucked up, you sent it to me. All right, that's on you. You asked me to talk. So I've had a few of those recently. There's a lot of companies that will like. So once you get to a certain size, and again, I'm still a very small creator, but like I have about 30,000 followers, so it's something. A lot of companies will want to like send you something, and you'll do a video on it, and like some of it's cool, like this 44 is super cool. I love that.
Yeah.
Some of it's like sound panels and shit, and you're like, I don't really want to deal with getting this sent to me and
Setting all
hanging it
that
up and then making the video. And so, yeah, I now I kind of let them come to me, and it helps that I have a niche, right? So F1 for me, motorsport for you guys, like that. That's a little easier, because certain companies are a little more involved, like the AC Creatives, like the art company. But yeah, I don't really have a good answer on like how to pitch yourself to people. I usually just say what I can offer, of like, hey, it can be streams where I shout you out, right, and then I'll do like one video a month or whatever.
Mhm.
But I'm still kind of figuring all that out. I don't really know how all that works yet.
Yeah, absolutely. But I guess we can kind of move over to more fun, exciting questions, F1 related, I guess.
Whatever you want, sweetie.
I was gonna say, I was thinking, what drivers do you think are kind of gonna stay on the grid this year, and who's gonna make way for, our potential replacements? I feel like everybody has their own idea on how the driver market's gonna shape up.
I think we need a flow chart.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of rumors in the summer break, right? And I feel like if you've been into F1 long enough, like where there's smoke, there's fire. So usually all the rumors kind of amount to something. So I think so far it's looking like Kimmy's pretty likely for that Mercedes seat, which baffles me to no end.
I agree.
I know they're scared of missing out on the next generational talent, and they think he's it. And I think he could be, but I don't think he's done much to show anybody that. And by the looks of their development, like Mercedes could be really strong next year. And I don't know if you want a silly goose rookie
in a front running car.
Yeah,
But who knows?
I
Could be
mean,
Lewis Hamilton.
Could be great. Could be great. Nobody knows. I think Doohan is pretty likely for Alpine for that second seat. I think Alpine can't really attract a different driver. And
I don't think
Doohan's a
anybody
great
wants to
junior.
go there.
Yeah, that team just French,
Yeah.
It's too much France. What are the other open spots? I saw something recently. What's up?
I was gonna say the Sauber one with Gabriel Bortoleto kind of just getting thrown in out of nowhere.
Yeah, because Zane Maloney is their junior, and he's in F2 with Gabriel
I know,
Bortoleto.
and he started off so well this year, winning both the sprint and the feacher at Bahrain, and then he's kind of just been nowhere now.
Yeah, so
Kind of
I don't know.
disappointing.
I would love to see it because I started watching F2 a few years ago, and I started watching F3 last year.
Yep.
Like I watched it over the break, so I just like binged all the. Anyway, so it'd be fun for me to see Bortoleto go from F3 to F2 to F1. I don't know though. I don't. I feel like there's other better options from the F2 field, especially if you're going to go outside of your driver program. Like I think
for
there's.
me, it's Paul Aaron all
Yeah,
day.
he's got a cool head. He's consistent. That team, he's not going to be winning races in that car anyway. Like I don't know. Williams seat is filled, right? Carlos Sainz there.
Yeah.
What else is open?
I think the last one is
the other Haas. No, it's
Or-
Esteban.
It's kind of your RB, just the
Oh.
entire fiasco
V-Carb,
at
Red
that
Bull.
team.
So let me start with. 'Cause I'm gonna upset some people here.
I'm good with that.
Daniel Ricciardo was the first person that I supported. In 2014, he was my guy. I had just gotten into F1. I had nothing against Lewis and Nico, but I just didn't want to root for like the top team. I think everybody wants to see a little bit of striving, right?
Mhm.
So Daniel Ricciardo is my guy. He's young. He's adorable. Everyone loves him. I love Daniel Ricciardo. I have a wonderful photo with Daniel Ricciardo from Coda that I adore, and I kiss every night before I go to sleep. That boy does
Yes.
not deserve a seat in F1.
I respect that.
He does not. I love him to death. I love him so much. He needs to skedaddle.
I agree, and he has so much other stuff he could be doing.
And then Checo is just a disaster, as we know.
Yeah,
Um,
I can't believe they decided to retain him over the break.
let's talk about this.
I think
Let's
it does
talk
the
about
same
this.
thing that they do with Albon, where they said, hey, we're going to keep him for the rest of the year. And then, within 10 days of like 3 years ago or something, that's when they announced that they're switching to the other drivers. So,
So did you know that the day after Red Bull announced they were keeping Checo, the day after, Disney Plus announced that Checo was getting a documentary releasing in a few weeks called, and I'm not making this up, Keep Fighting Checo, or Never
I've
Give Up
never
Checo.
heard.
Keep Fighting Checo? I think it's Keep Fighting Checo. Someone Google that. Put it in the show notes.
I'm
I
going
think you have
to.
show notes. Yeah. So that's out. You can watch it. I think it's already out. So I'm not saying that for sure somebody within Disney or Liberty or whoever didn't lean on Red Bull a little bit and say, hey, listen, we have this documentary coming out tomorrow. Can you just be cool for a little bit and let it circulate and then do whatever you want?
Yeah, I heard so many rumors about. I want to say like Liberty Media bribing them to keep him for like the Mexican GP sponsorship deal or something like that, because they were so worried that the, I guess, attendance and I guess influence of that race would drop if Sergio wasn't there.
Yeah, it may be true. I don't think any of us really know. I think that Max is a little bit of a diva, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe they don't want to challenge the status quo. I think of anybody. So right, let's look at the whole picture. Right, you've got a seat with Max because Max is obviously going to keep his seats. You got a seat with Max. I
Mm-hmm.
think from a from a who would do better perspective, you got to put Yuki in that seat because Yuki's paid his dues. He's done well. All that fun.
Yeah,
But Yuki is kind of an asshole, and so they don't want to put Max, who is a super asshole, with Yuki, who's kind of an asshole, because they would kill each other.
I
So that's
agree.
why Yuki doesn't get the seat, and it sucks because like you want like I am a big believer in like be who you are, right? All that fun stuff. But like
Yeah.
Yuki's been kind of a pain, and it's costing him a seat. Um, I think Lawson deserves that V carb seat. I don't think anyone disagrees with that. I think he
Mm-hmm.
would deserve that V carb seat. And then I don't even know the list of Red Bull Juniors because last year I think they had like six F2 cars that were Red Bull liveried from the Red. They kind of cut it down a little bit. So you got
Yeah.
Iwasa as an option who's in Super Formula right now. Hajar, who is doing really well, but I just cannot stand. I
I
just
can't stand him either. I
he's
do
so
not like the
whiny.
guy.
Maybe it's because he's French. I didn't think I had a thing against the French, but it seems like I might, because he is French and I don't like him. But he seems so bitchy and moany,
I
and I
completely
just
agree.
I don't know. So I think what did I say? So Yuki goes to the Red Bull seat, which wouldn't actually happen. So Daniel's going to get that seat. So Yuki would have to stay at V Carb, and then Lawson would get the other V Carb seat. In an ideal world, they could make Yuki and Max play nice, and then you have two openings of V Carb, and it can be an actual junior team like it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And you can put Lawson, who has no experience, and I think you kind of take your pick of the other juniors, Iwasa, Hajar, who's
Pepe
the guy at
Marty.
F3, Pepe Marde, who's the
Oh,
guy at F3,
Arvid Lindblad.
Lindblad,
Yeah.
Lindblad could be great. Like they just have nothing but drivers falling out of their pockets, so I think that anything could work there.
I mean, and they're just cutting them also. Like they're cutting them off like it's nothing all the time.
Mhm.
Like Dennis Hauger losing his Red Bull backing like a year ago was crazy to me.
Yeah, but he hadn't really done much since then, so like maybe they were right.
I will say you're right on the fact that he kind of did just fall off after winning the F3 title, but I don't know. It's still kind of just blew my mind.
Next question. What do you think, in your opinion, is the McLaren first driver situation? Is it
Hmm.
Oscar or is it Lando?
So I think a lot of people want it to be Lando, and I'm in that category. I want it to be Lando,
Hmm.
and I think he's got the potential, but he is so far in his own head, and up his own ass personally right now that I just don't. I don't know if he can. I don't know if he can recover from that, right? Because I think
Yeah.
like he's lost so many spots in the most recent opening laps, and because look how many races was he like within a shout to win and didn't? I think you got Imola, Canada, Silverstone, Austria,
Hungary. I well, no, Hungary. They kind of that was orchestrated.
Hungary. Well, but if they, if they didn't screw up the strategy, he could have had the chance to go after him. Spa, if he didn't lose a bunch of Spa, like
Russia
that's a lot of races.
2021.
Yeah, I mean, hey, now it's too soon. That's a lot of chances that he's just not capitalizing on. And so
Yeah.
what I'm hoping is that recently I went back and watched 2020, the 2020 season, excuse me, and it was like Max was kind of biting at Lewis's heels, but you could tell he wasn't quite ready. Car wasn't quite ready. Max wasn't quite ready. I'm hoping that's what's happening now, where it's like this is his prep year, where he gets a taste of like, oh, I could be in the running, and next year he comes to play. Who really knows? Oscar seems like he's just a machine, like he just doesn't have feelings, and that seems to
He's
be benefiting
Kimmy.
him. Yeah,
It's like he's literally Kimmy.
I think that's benefiting him a lot right now, where he's just super
Yeah.
chill and can kind of take everything in stride. I think I think we'd all hate to see Lando get beat by Oscar next year, but it's definitely possible.
I kind of want to see it.
Um,
Maybe it could be his wake up call, I guess. Because I feel like he's never really had serious competition, I guess. At least since Carlos. But yeah. For you, I guess though, what's the thing that surprised you most this year? I guess as
That we
the
had a
whole,
good
like,
season.
yeah, okay, you know what? Very fair point.
Yeah, I remember testing, and I remember Bahrain, and so my poor wife, she God bless her. So my wife started watching last year, which was the worst season to ever start
Yes.
watching F1
That was
in
my last season.
history.
That was my first season.
Yeah, listen. Props to you guys. I would not have stayed with it if my first season was 2022 or 2023. Excuse me. I wouldn't still be watching F1 because it was just so lame.
Yeah.
So she started last year, and this year I was like, all right, regulations are close enough. Like, should be fun. I saw the results from testing, and I was telling myself, I was like, it's just testing. It doesn't mean anything, but it sure looks like Max is about to just absolutely, absolutely demolish everybody. And then we saw Bahrain, and he did absolutely demolish everybody. And I was like, that's it. That's the season. We got this shit for the rest of it. And then
Yeah.
just magically, I like nothing. I don't know what they put in the Wheaties at McLaren. I don't know how many people they had to steal from other teams. I don't know what it
Yeah.
is. But Miami rolls around and Lando, by a fair amount of luck, gets a win. I'm like, oh, now we got something going on. And then it's been every race since that. It's been just an absolute banger. And I've watched since 2014. I know people that have watched older than that. I feel like this is comparable to 2012, where you had like 7 winners in the first 7 races.
Yes.
Like this is the best time to get into F1, and we still have, because of the length of the seasons, we still have basically a full half a season left. I mean, we have 10 races left, I think.
Yeah.
And we have a legitimate fight for the championship from a team that no one thought. We haven't really had a championship fight in quite a while, because like Mercedes usually had it pretty locked down, and like Seb could challenge Lewis a little bit, but he wasn't really challenging Mercedes as a whole.
Yeah.
Same in 2021, where like Max was kind of challenging Lewis, but they weren't challenging Mercedes. And now we could have kind of an out of the blue new constructor championship, and I'm having just so much fun.
Yeah, I'm loving watching that. I mean, especially just because I don't know, it's been so long. I mean, the only other season that I've watched, I mean, I started in 2018. The only other season that I've watched that was this exciting was 2021. And a little bit of an honorable mention to 2020 as well. Lewis was dominating, but there was just some just crazy out there races.
A lot of
But,
nonsense.
Yeah. Wait, say again?
A lot of nonsense.
That Tuscany race in Mugello was crazy. But yeah,
Yeah.
you're
And I
right,
think
though.
that like one thing that I'm trying not to lose my cool over is like a lot of people are saying, "Hey, these regulations are so good right now. Let's leave them alone, not go to 2026." But at the same time, like we don't have engine failures anymore. We don't have DNFs anymore. We have nothing that really mixes up the order of the grid other than the grid itself doing some silly
Yeah.
stuff. So like I'm excited for 2026. I know that we'll go back to someone figuring it out and being a little more dominant, but it'll be an engine formula, which will be exciting. We haven't had that since when did they homologate everything? Like 2018 or something like that.
2017? Yeah,
2017. That
18.
feels in that range.
Yeah.
So like I'm excited. I think it'll be fun. You're gonna have some big catastrophic engine failures, which are gonna make things more exciting. But I think that this is good. And then we get 2025. We get all of 2025 with hopefully the same level of competition.
Yeah, I'd love to just end the season right now and then do the exact same thing straight into 2025 with this performance.
I don't know about that. I want McLaren to get the title. I won't lie.
Speaking of
That's fair.
2025, for our last question, this was written before the news came out today, but we'll alter it slightly. How confident are you in the signing of Newey going to Aston Martin?
I wouldn't say that I would bet $400 million on it,
Yeah.
but because I don't have that much, but I'm pretty certain he's going to Aston Martin. Yeah, and I talked about this a little bit in some content stuff, but like I think that what Newey wants a challenge. He wants something new. He's done that a lot in the past, where he's kind of gone from a top team where he got bored because he's the best, and he was like, "Yeah, we dominate. I don't know which one." And he's gone to a little bit of a lesser team, but that team has to have the resources to be able to use his knowledge. And Aston Martin has the brand new wind tunnel. They have the full backing of Papa Stroll. I don't. They're not a works team, right? It's just Aston Martin in the name. I don't think it's.
Yeah, no, it's not a
factory
works
Yeah, it's not a
team.
works team.
That's what I thought. So they've he's got full reign over that program. He's got an ass load of money, apparently, 400 million over 4 years. and he has they have the systems and the technology to do what he wants. Also, it's sounding like maybe Lawrence is after Max right now, which that would kind of sour it for me a little bit. I wouldn't like to see the dominant pair just switch to a new thing. But you know, I mean, it's what it is. But yeah, I'm thinking it's fairly certain he's going to Aston Martin.
When we were talking to F1 Coffee Corner, he pointed out too that a lot of the people that he worked with in the past at other teams have already signed to Aston Martin, which is another big factor that really points to the fact that he might go there just because he has the people he's been working with for his career. So yeah, I'm excited for it because I'm a Fernando fan, but it's going to be interesting to see how it shakes up the sport.
Man, wouldn't it suck if Lance Stroll won the title?
I was just gonna say we're about to see Lance Stroll drive a piece of Adrian Newey magic.
Lawrence Stroll did it. He did it.
I really, there's not a lot of drivers I don't like. I cannot stand Lance Stroll. But other than that, there's not a lot of drivers I don't like.
2026 would be his 10th year in the sport. Like that, I can't believe he's been kept in that long.
Yeah, I mean, when he pushed his guitar, or when he pushed his mechanic and guitar, that was it for me. Like, I never really cared for him, but like, all right, it would have been. And congratulations to that mechanic for not beating that rich boy's ass right there on camera. Because I'm not a fighter, but if Lance Stroll puts his hands on me, it'll take a team to pull off me. Okay, like this, we're not going to play this. I don't even know what we're talking about anymore.
No.
I just imagine Lance Stroll touching me, and
it's his entire just aura and how he conducts himself. I can't deal with it.
He is silly goose.
He is a silly goose. Well, we'll let you have a few seconds to plug everything that you do and tell people where to find you.
I should probably know the names of all my stuff.
Hey,
because it's sometimes I couldn't get FunkyTBone on everything, so some stuff is different. Hold on.
That's
I'm not
okay.
ready.
You're all good. You're all good. We'll stall for a few seconds with.
Okay. Hold on.
What, Raven? What are you gonna start?
Yeah, what are you? Let's
I
hear
don't
it, Raven.
know.
Can you sing a nice little tune for us?
No,
Some
please don't.
I'm not
karaoke?
singing. I'll talk about my thrifted McDonald's racing
I was gonna pull
driving
that up.
shirt.
I was wondering what that was. I hadn't seen that.
Yeah.
That
So
top
I do not
before.
work at McDonald's. I just am wearing a McDonald's racing shirt. So
Probably never thought you would say that, did you? That you had to explain that
probably
you
not.
were.
No, yeah, that was a unique.
No, it's
one.
okay. It's okay. Whenever I wear my Ferrari merchandise to people that don't watch Formula One, everybody thinks that I work at a gas station. So
Yeah, it'd be like that. So for me, Twitch is where I do all the live streams. So if people want to like join the races, it'd be just FunkyTBone on Twitch. YouTube is the same. So if you want to see long form and short form content, FunkyTBone, and then Instagram is FunkyTBone TV. So TV is at the end. And I don't even want to check TikTok because I'm mad at TikTok right now.
that's okay.
TikTok has put
what
me in
happened with
baby jail.
TikTok?
They put me in jail like once a week. It's so the
Classic
do
shadow
you guys
ban.
post to TikTok? I don't
We
know. If
don't.
you,
I personally
Okay.
don't want to.
well, if you start, they will at some point just decide to be upset, and they'll just turn your shit off. So
All right, so
it
we're
was-
not going there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like it's good. Like I have, I don't know, 6,000, 7,000 followers on it, but
Yeah.
there's been about a 4-month period where every so often they just take a video and they just turn it off, and then all the subsequent videos don't get pushed to anybody.
Yep.
And you will post a video and it won't even be up in this combined like community guidelines, and so you have to appeal it, and that takes a day, and then you get it back.
Yeah.
And it's just such a pain to deal with. So TikTok is great. It's a great platform for people to grow on depending on the type of content you make, but I'm just mad at them at this moment.
Yeah. They'll
Totally.
apologize sometime.
They better.
No, they
I want a
won't.
letter from TikTok saying they apologize to the
I'm gonna write a
6,000 follower channel. Yeah, I'm gonna get right on that.
Well, thank you so much for this awesome interview. It's been amazing to talk to you and kind of get a look inside your world as like a streamer instead of more of like a media style like how we do it. But definitely when I get set up, I will try to throw myself into your Twitch chat and maybe hop in a lobby with some people and
Sure, man.
get
We'd love
my
to have you.
voice. Yeah.
You don't even need to set up.
Hey, it's a
on
day
controller.
I've
That's
been
true.
waiting
I do
for
have
him
the
for a long
controller.
time.
I do have the
Yeah.
controller, so we could get in there.
Take you anytime.
Awesome. Well,
Perfect.
thank
I'll
you
hop
guys so much for listening. We will see you guys next time.